As President Donald Trump took office, new approval ratings from online polling and analytics company Civic show 45% of Americans approve of the president's job performance compared to 53% that do not. USA Today reports that Trump's approval ratings have not shown a major shift from the beginning of his term or compared with his first term.
You look what's going on to the polling industry right now, and in the last couple of weeks since the election, you're seeing it's like Rich. All the people that you targeted, the Monmouth poll, Rich, the Monmouth poll has closed their doors. And Seltzer has retired. 538 has been shut down. These are all the people that we were told they were the gold standard. Remember, all the eggheads were telling me, these are the gold standard. Oh, that's the Monmouth poll. You got to trust them. And so she hit the gold standard. That's the gold standard. And people are like, did we miss something? Do we miss a big Kamala vote? Do we miss a big abortion army vote going through? And 538 was the model. If he was the one guy all through 2024, especially through the fall, that was just like, they're liars. They're liars. They're all lying. They're all playing games. And it was Rich Barris, the one guy who was slimed, who was smeared, who was attacked, who they went after day after day after day. And I got to just say, wait a minute, how come all of you guys don't have jobs anymore? Donald Trump is in office, and Rich Barris, the People's Pundit, is still standing tall. Rich Barris, take a victory lap, man. You've earned it.
Couldn't have happened to worse people. I have absolutely no sympathy for them whatsoever. And I like to consider myself a pretty good Christian, Jack, or at least I try. We all try. We're all imperfect people. But they deserve this. They 100% deserve this. You know, in 2016, we were going through something as an industry. It was a little bit tough to navigate, but those of us who used new collection methods and tried to understand why people didn't answer polls anymore, the difficulties of it, and the differences in people and who they are, and why does one want to be interviewed so much more than the other? We did okay, but it was only a few of us. In 2020, COVID came and it was difficult because everybody was home. You had all of these Zoomers and professional class people signing up, especially for online panels, and they're sitting there clicking how they hate Donald Trump all day. So it was a little bit difficult, and I understood some of that. But 2024 was not hard. If you had a response bias so bad that you had Kamala Harris ahead in Iowa, then you should not be a public pollster. You shouldn't be a pollster at all for anyone. If you thought in any way, shape, or form that after the debate there was a bump for Kamala Harris and she was, going to suddenly ahead and had the edge in this election, you should not be a pollster. The truth is, public opinion does not move like this. It doesn't move as dramatically as these pollsters suggest, and that is narrative polling. And now we know, by the way, I mean, with some of the government funding we've seen, Jack, we know that some of these people are funded by incredibly odd sources, and I would never do something like that or get myself involved, especially not my public work, with an arrangement that they have in some of these polling outfits. And the bottom line is, I mean, if we ever thought that there were some methodological issues and people needed to fix them, that's all. I mean, we can throw that out the window. 2020 was easy. It was a fairly easy election to poll. Donald Trump was always going to win this election, and anyone who found otherwise was either lying intentionally, bad at their job, or just hedging because they're a coward.
Well, Rich, I wanted to hear, and you're right. I think 2024 it never fundamentally changed. I think people saying that Biden would have won. Even Biden, by the way, has said that he would have won if he had stayed in. It's just not true. It's completely not true. So even he has fallen for these lies. I want you to walk through a phrase that you just mentioned, a concept, narrative polling. I think I know what you mean, but unpack that for our audience.
Look, Ann Seltzer held a poll for ballpark a month that showed that Donald Trump was nearly 20 points ahead of Joe Biden in the state of Iowa. They never released it. I knew that poll existed. I told your viewers on that show it existed. I told Charlie Kirk it existed with you as a co-host on that show. And then we found out when they pulled, or were trying to pull, the switcheroo on Joe Biden after the debate, that they used it in a story for a narrative that, look, Biden was down nearly 20 points last month, but Kamala's much closer. That's narrative polling. They held that for a story. And oh, by the way, Kamala Harris was never close in Iowa to Donald Trump. In fact, Kamala Harris ran behind Joe Biden in most of the Great Lakes and the Midwest states throughout our entire cycle's polling. So it didn't mean Joe Biden was going to win. It just meant the coalition looked a little bit different. And I tried telling this to people: who is going to do better in Bidentown, Pennsylvania? Joe Biden, who's Scranton Joe Biden, or Canadian Kamala Harris? Who do you think is going to perform better in northeastern Pennsylvania? It's a no-brainer. I cannot even believe we're having these conversations. In the plain states and in the farmer areas of Iowa, Joe Biden is more like than her. He was still going to lose, but he's more like than her. So that's for a narrative. She held that poll so the Democratic Party could later tell a story. That's what she was doing. And I'm telling you, that's unacceptable behavior. She was paraded around as if she was the gold standard. She was not. By the way, John Kerry didn't win Iowa either. She predicted and her polls suggested he would in a very comfortable margin. He lost the state of Iowa to George W. Bush. So all of this was just always bogus. It was just completely bogus push, because when certain polls drop, they want people to believe them more. And those polls are used to set a narrative. And it's sad. And I used to give people the benefit of the doubt. But after this election, there is no more benefit to give. It's over, Jack.